Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. Thank you for joining us for our second major event in 2022, and especially welcome to the SentyTek Theater. We have some amazing updates and announcements for you today. We've spent the last 4 months designing and building this fantastic space for our events, and so far, everyone seems to love it as much as we do. Our teams did an excellent job building this theater, and we can't wait to show you all of its amazing features. Last January, we talked about our great brand new cars, the Solstice, Moraine, Pelco, as well as the groundbreaking improvements to the Echolodia. We are proud to say that these new cars are our most popular products ever, and customers love them. We have a jam-packed event ready for you guys this afternoon, so let's jump straight into it. Today, we're going to focus on 3 major aspects of what we do in Stormworks: the community, SenTOS Car, and Echolodia. Let's get started with the community. The Stormworks community has proved to have been able to do some amazing things, from incredible multi-part boats, legendary aircraft carriers, to passenger logistics, and fantastic military replicas. One of the phenomenal add-ons that has surfaced in recent months is improved Conquest mode, a great add-on that completely redefines combat and AI in Stormworks. Very soon, improved Conquest mode is about to release its 3rd major update, which features next-level performance improvements, cargo logistics, and so much more. To tell you all about it, I'd like to invite Toastery to the stage. Toastery?
Thank you, Sandy. So glad to be here today. For example, one of the biggest improvements in this update is that we've been able to make the performance 3 to 12 times better over vanilla Conquest mode by optimizing the way
Press
it
the
checks
slide
for
button.
cat. Oh, alright. Slide.
Again. There we go.
Yeah, so it has 3 to 12 times better performance than vanilla Conquest mode. Some of the new features it adds. Along with this, we're going to be introducing Transport AI. The AI will be transporting cargo such as diesel, oil, and jet fuel between their islands. They can produce the oil at certain islands, such as the oil rig, and can turn it into diesel and jet fuel at places such as the refinery, which they will be able to then transport it to their island so they can use it to spawn even more enemy AI. You can intercept this cargo and steal it for a profit, or just blow them up.
Just keep going.
Yeah, I know. The stupid thing on Windows came up. Currently, improved Conquest mode has tons of new features over vanilla. Wait, shit, I already said that. Sorry. One of my personal favorite new features in improved Conquest mode is the land AI. The AI can drive around on Sawyer and Donk, and maybe even some point in the Arctic. The land AI has been set up so they can take many shortcuts and go off-roading as well, such as following you up a cliff between trees. The best place to see this in action is the northwest corner of Sawyer, south of Olsen Bay. We also have Scout AI, where the enemy AI needs to scout your base before they're able to launch an attack on it, giving you the time to prepare or even prevent the attack by shooting down the scout plane. The scout plane purposely was designed to look like a civilian plane, so keep your eyes out, or don't, because we've not implemented punishments for war crimes. Another notable feature is all the new vehicles that have been sorry, that have been contributed by the contributors of the project, such as SenTOS cars, tanks, planes, helicopters. And in the next update, we will be adding even more vehicles, such as new boats, SenTOS, bunkers / pillboxes, land vehicles, planes, and more. Right. Okay, I read that wrong. That's why I was confused. Sorry. Yes. Some other features include sinking mode, where you need to sink the enemy AI ships before they explode, instead of them just having a health bar. contesting mode, where if you and an enemy AI are trying to capture the same point, it will contest, which allows you to leave the capture point and fight the enemy AI without worrying about them capturing the point while you're trying to destroy them. There's also many new settings which allows you to customize the game to your liking. Along with this, we also have new commands, which range from letting you spawn an enemy AI vehicle manually to changing the settings mid-game, which can be useful for dedicated servers, even letting you see all the enemy AI positions on your map. Wrong one.
Okay, don't press the slide button anymore.
Alright.
I messed it up. Just keep going.
Right. Well, features are great. You can't have new features if it's covered in bugs. As such, we've also fixed tons of bugs over vanilla, such as vehicles spawning inside each other, boats spawning in the middle of the sky, hero fighters pulling 5,000 G turns, not being able to undo the enemy AI's capture progress on your points, and many more bug fixes. We've also made a lot of balance changes to make Conquest mode a lot more enjoyable, such as removing the anti-air tanks, which had dual rotary autocannons. This is because while they're meant for anti-air, they were actually good at everything except for anti-air. Another balance change is that no AI vehicles use explosive ammo anymore. While vanilla Conquest mode is all enemy AI vehicles using high explosive ammo. However, improved Conquest mode was not just a one-person effort. In fact, there's been a ton of other people who've helped with the development. I'd like to thank Senty, Woe, Damon Fire, Duart, Erie, HSF Outcast, Keth, Lassie, Script Sauce, Sebastias, Sid5, and Yucky for contributing vehicles and or code into the project. The project has been in development for over 3 months at this point, and it wouldn't be in the state it is now if it weren't for all the contributors. Now I'd like to hand it back to Senty.
Thank you, Toastery. We cannot wait for improved Conquest mode to release its third major update, and see what the community does with it. We've also been working hard on making our own add-ons to help with everything that you might need in a Stormworks game. It has everything from teleporting to players to spawning vehicles anywhere, and even killing your most annoying friends, all through chat. Call it SenCommands. To tell you all about it, here's Senty. Thanks, Senty. SenCommands is pretty neat. We've been using it for months around here. Teleporting people, spawning vehicles, killing people. It's so incredibly useful. A lot of add-ons add commands, or teleporting, or spawning vehicles, but there is no one add-on that does all of it, and more. It has a large list of super useful commands, most of them dedicated at playing multiplayer, but it can also be used in single-player games. One of our favorites is the !ve command, which spawns whatever vehicle you want right in front of you, oftentimes inside of you. Or potentially the spawn object command, which spawns whatever prop you want. Right? And however many you want right in front of you. I could very well spawn 12 meteors in this theater right now, since SenCommands is enabled. There are plenty of commands to choose from $TP to teleport to any player or island, $spawn Meg can be used to jumpstart your marine adventure, and $equip will spawn a useful box of equipment right at your feet. Of course, despawn can be used to get rid of all unnecessary objects, vehicles, or annoying players. A bit of a lie on that last part, but you can kick and ban players right from the commands without having SenCommands installed. What's even better about SenCommands that I really like is Smart Respawn. When you die, normally all the items you were holding fall to the ground or ocean, and you'll never see it again, let's face it. But now, you will respawn with those very same items in your hotbar, just as they were when you died. And your old items, they get deleted, so you and your friends can't go on a fun killing spree to get free flashlights or welding torches. That can be turned off, though. Save the best for last, though. When you die, it's usually a rather unexciting moment. You explode with items, and don't get remembered unless you say something funny. That's going to change. You'll be remembered, but only because that when you die, a small death message will appear in chat, with a fun little joke about your death. SenCommands has over 150 randomly generated death messages, 25 possible join messages, and 20 random leave messages. This is sure to make your Stormworks experience so much better by getting a good laugh probably every couple of minutes. Let's be honest, we die a lot in this game. So let's demo it. I am going to type !spawn object 132 into chat. Just like that, a table is spawned. Who wants a free table? Someone can get a free table from that. Or, even better, I can type !spawn object 11, and Deltars is here. Anyone want a free Deltars? Alright. Might wanna get rid of those guys. So I'll type !despawn into chat, and bam! They're gone! Just as if they never existed. So spawning vehicles, teleporting to items, teleporting to islands, spawning super helpful equipment, easier admin and remove admin commands, and of course, respawning with your items with smart respawn and hundreds of random entertaining death messages. We are really happy with it, and we can't wait to bring it to you guys later. These are just some of the amazing things you can do with add-on Lua. Just look at improved Conquest mode. And we'll have an exciting announcement related to Lua coming later this year. Now we'd like to hand it back to Senti. Tap? What is that supposed to say? It's a big tap. Huh. We are really excited to release SenCommands after months of development, testing, and refining for the best experience. Those death messages are sure to give a few laughs. There's 4 just about recycle bins. Last January, we gave a sneak peek to some very cool technologies. Today, we have some updates for those. We decided to split the project into 2 parts, live and record. What this means is you can either have a live graph with real-time updating values, and a recorded version that you can record as much data as you want and show it back for analyzation. There are so many cool features with this live graph. First off, you can graph up to 8 different data points at once on the X and Y axis with X locked to time, all in real time. Nothing else like this has been possible before, and it is so incredibly useful in day-to-day situations. VTOL not behaving correctly? With live graph, you can see exactly what is messing up and correct it. Just place the microcontroller, connect some data points, and off you go. So much faster than manually plotting things in Excel like we did with our self-landing space rocket SWRT-10. And that's just one of the many amazing things we can think of for use cases for this live graph. Altitude not holding the right altitude, boat rolling a bit too much, cruise control gets a little overzealous, or say seeing how many people are on a stage at one time. There's an amazing feature I do want to talk about though. It lets you do something pretty cool. Export your graph as a CSV into other programs, such as Microsoft Excel, so you can graph it better. Or print the data into the real world if you for some reason want to do that. Or send the graph to your colleagues, which is an even weirder thing than printing it. Let's demo it. Here, we actually do have a unit to show you. We'll roll out eventually. You know, the issue with wheels in Stormworks is that you basically just can't with them. It's super annoying. But here it is. It has this super nice interface with a... Well, it has a super nice interface, leaving most of the screen to show the graph. And as we can see, as I walk to and from the unit, it changes its number, telling me how many people are near it using a player sensor. Well, if I want to show only 2 of my 8 channels. Oh, you see these 2 grayed out bits of text? I can tap E on them, toggle them showing on the main graph, while they still show their real-time value underneath their label. Each channel gets its own labels and can be toggled to show or not, which is pretty nice. So now we have sign and players both being graphed at once. I can also show the battery of the unit, or make it only display the battery. It's going down. Looks like it's going down pretty quickly, but it really isn't. Super cool. Each channel gets its own color code, so it's super easy to figure out what's it. What? Who's the other player? There's 3. Why are there so many people next to this? This is... Uh-oh. Oh, not happening. It's having a bit of a fun day. Look at this. This is super cool. I can pause it. Froze time. I can tap anywhere on the graph to get a vertical cursor, which shows me the values of each channel, of what each channel were at that point in time. And my favorite part is the history. I can hold these scroll bars at the bottom of the screen to scroll back and forth in history, seeing what data was in the past. Isn't that pretty cool? Let's get that back. Let's roll that away. Never to be seen. Pretend it was never real. It was never real. Didn't exist. These are just some of the super cool features that are part of this live graph. I think you'll love it. Tell you all about the recorded graph, I'll hand it off to Sentry. What? It's still, like, clearly there. What? I mean, like... Thanks, Sensei. This recorded graph is super cool. Almost as cool as the live one. We call it SenGraph. You're able to record up to 8 different channels at once, just like the live graph. I would throw our self-landing rocket's flight profile on the screen, but the screen is unable to draw that much detail. Color string error, or whatever. But what this graph has, that the other one does not, is the ability to plot whatever you want on both the X and Y axis. You're no longer limited to time on the X-axis. For example, you can graph the X and Y coordinate of your boat from its spawn position, or the roll and pitch of your plane, so you can view it in 2 dimensions to see how it really looks. We would have a demo, but it fell over. So we're gonna skip past that part. We are super happy with how both the live graph and SenGraph, the recorded one, turned out. And we can't wait to get them to you. In fact, the live graph is available right now on the Steam Workshop under the name Graphing MC2. We highly recommend it that you go check it out, as it is incredibly functional. Incredibly useful for debugging all sorts of things. There we go. Back to you, Sensei. Thank you, Sentry. We think that these 2 new graphic tools serve their individual purposes and will be incredibly useful to the masses. Will be incredibly useful to the masses. We've already seen tons of people use LiveGraph, debugging all sorts of things. In fact, all of our examples were from the community, sending screenshots of their own creations with the graph on them. So now, let's talk about SenTOS Car. Car 3 is the most advanced mobile operating system currently shipped in Stormworks. All of our recent cars have it, and we really want to improve on it. So that's exactly what we did. Making the operating system more realistic, more user-friendly, and easier to use than ever. But what should we call it? Well, if you're a student of SentyTek, then you know that this question can only be answered by our legendary crack marketing team. Their drug-fueled minibus-driven quests have yielded some great names in the past, so we turned to them again for help this year on what to call the greatest release, SenTOS Car. We want to name our operating systems with names that'll be remembered, so after hours of soul-searching, the team came back to us and said, SenTOS Car 4. Might need some different drug next season. This release of SenTOS Car 4 has so many amazing features. So to tell you all about them, here's Snet. Thank you, Senti. We're so excited to tell you about all these new features in this release. So let's get straight into them. We've made tons of improvements for more realism, better user experience, and to make it more accessible than ever. I think that one of the big features that users will enjoy the most is that we've replaced the tap on-screen start system with a more realistic hold key. Now, just tap a button on the right side of your steering wheel to turn on the screen, and hold it to turn on the engine. So much more intuitive. Just tap or hold. Super simple. We've also improved the automatic transmission in several ways. The logic is more condensed, so it's faster to shift up and down. You can downshift manually when in automatic in case you ever get stuck or need to rapidly push down to get that extra speed boost to beat out your racing buddies. And the upshift RPS threshold will lower with each gear, making it so much easier to get into those higher gears, getting you more speed than ever. And a super wonderful thing we did was remove the car automatically going into neutral when you held the brake for too long. We thought that it was incredibly useful, but really we just got tons and tons of annoying complaints. So to stop those complaints, we removed that. There's also a host of new changes and improvements. The cruise control got greatly improved, now holding your speed more accurately than ever on even the most extreme of modular engines. 2 reverse gears now let you reverse with slightly higher speeds, or do a reverse wheelie if you're up to the task. There's better multiplayer sync. That's orders of magnitude better than before. So playing with your buddies won't desync the car, and those pesky engines will always be the same for everyone. We added an odometer, so you can track how long you've been driving the car over the course of your fantastic road trip. There's now a shifter sound and door ajar chime, for a more realistic experience than ever. We improved the blinkers so they don't activate when you're steering. And added hazards to alert others in case you're a hazard. Not a lot of people here. The interior light is now better than ever, turning on super quickly when you open the doors, waiting before slowly dimming off when the doors close. They also turn on when you flip the cabin light switch, but that's not important right now. There's 2 changes that I want to emphasize on because I think that they're cool. First one is something that you'll probably not notice, but subtly adds to the realism. In the real world, when it's cold outside, your gas is more likely to thicken and solidify. To compensate for this, your engine idles just a little bit higher to get that gas moving a bit quicker. We replicated that functionality in Stormworks, even though gas can't thicken up in this game. So now, when it's cold outside, like when you're in the Arctic, your engine will idle slightly higher, only 1 or 2 RPS. That's not the only use of idling high when cold. It can actually get the engine up and moving a little bit faster, so it's more ready to get up and go. Second one is considerably more obvious. On a lot of cars, when you turn off the key, they'll show you your trip stats. These trip stats usually include the average fuel economy, the distance driven, sometimes the range that they have left. We really like this, and it's super useful for getting general info about your trip or for future trips. So, when you turn off your car in SenTOS Car 4, it will show you your trip stats, including the distance driven, the fuel used, your average speed, and average fuel economy. May not seem like it, but this is super useful for the manufacturers to figure out if there's anything wrong with the cars. Like, I don't know, giving 17 gallons to the mile instead of 17 miles to the gallon. True story, by the way. And if you're normal, you can switch the trip stats units to metric instead of imperial. Metric instead of imperial. We think that this release of SenTOS Car is absolutely incredible, featuring the most changes and fixes we have ever done in any of our creations. We think you'll absolutely love it. So, I'd like to hand it back to Senti. Senti? Thanks, Nat. SenTOS Car 4 has some incredible upgrades and new features, and we can't wait to put it in vehicles to show it to you. So now, let's talk about Echolodia. The latest generation of Echolodia is our most popular truck we have ever made. So today, we have a great variant of Echolodia to introduce to you today, for the very first time, that combines power, maneuverability, ease of use, and reliability all into one beautiful package. It's called Echolodia TE, and to tell you all about it, here's Snotty. Thanks, Senty. Echolodia TE is a fantastic package, and I am so excited to tell you all about it. TE builds on the powerful foundation of Echolodia 2022, while improving it in nearly every way. Of course, it has all the great features of SenTOS Car 4, from the improved interior lights, all the way up to the engine idling when cold, and the improved blinkers. What an engine to idle. TE features the most powerful engine we have ever put in any land vehicle ever. A W20 high-performance modular engine. Unlike the R15 or B12 in the bus that you drove here, the W format compacts the engine so much that we can fit this incredible powerhouse of an engine into a smaller space than ever thought before, greatly improving performance. TE is also the fastest truck we've ever made, putting it into a top speed of 130 miles per hour. This is near the top speed of our fastest car, Pelco, and this is a pickup truck. TE also features tons of subtle small improvements that will make your life a lot easier. Such as the door buttons are now visible when on both sides of the door, so now you can actually close the doors. An improved electrical system and power generation makes it so it's very unlikely that you'll need to jumpstart the car, unless you drive it into a wall at 400 miles an hour, but that's not our fault. Or if it gets blasted by one of Toastery's missiles. Improved tires highly increase the grip, so good luck getting off the ground, unless there's a tornado, which absolutely nothing can survive. The car also has an openable back window. I know it sounds useless, but that's because it is, you can't even fit through it. The tow hook is stronger, meaning you can tow larger things. Echolodia also has the most crash resistance out of any truck we've made yet. Steering and braking have been refined to give you the most realistic and easiest to drive experience yet. It's fine-tuned and works wonderfully. TE also ships with a 6-speed automatic transmission that can be changed to manual at any time. It really is a beautiful package. We're excited to release it to you guys very shortly. TE is the best Echolodia we have made yet. It almost deserves a Pro moniker. Imagine that. Echolodia Pro. Now, back to Senty. Thank you, Snotty. We really think that Echolodia TE is an amazing car, and we cannot wait to see what you do with it. But we do have one more variant of Echolodia to show to you today. It is a fine-tuned climbing, racing, towing machine. With the terrain being so rugged and difficult in Stormworks, we needed a solution to climb all of it, to overcome any obstacle that the terrain could throw at us. At first, we thought we solved it with Echolodia with a variant of the 2021 version of Echolodia, Echolodia Hypersport. It had massive, monster truck-sized wheels and a large diesel engine that should not be in a land car. Don't get me wrong, it could climb tons of things, but it wasn't that great at being a normal truck as well. So we took on the challenge of solving that problem too. And we needed a way to have a monstrous climbing machine and a normal truck as well. So we went out into the real world. To look at different vehicles that could do this. And it turns out they don't exist. However, we did find something that came pretty close. A tank. Sounds great, I know. So today, I'm so excited to introduce to you the Echolodia tank. No, I'm just kidding about that. I know the military buffs here are so disappointed. But we like the idea of combining a tank with one of the most advanced trucks on the Steam Workshop. We're so happy to introduce to you today our solution to this. Echolodia X is our solution to this problem. Echolodia X is the most intense truck we have ever made, and I think you can tell pretty clearly why. We've replaced the back wheels with tank treads. Of course, it can climb pretty well. It can climb at up to an 85-degree angle, and at up to 20 miles per hour. A shorter wheelbase allows for an easier time to climb all sorts of hills and mountains, and at higher speed. An extended bed and shorter cabin allows for you to carry more precious cargo to the most difficult destinations. An advanced clutch control algorithm controls the exact amount of power that goes to each tread based on your speed and steering wheel position. Toggleable all-wheel drive gives you more power in the front when you need it. An improved tow hitch lets you tow the most advanced trailers. So what is the powerhouse that we use to drive Echolodia X? The engine that powers this incredible truck is a W20 super high performance modular engine. It's also supercharged, and it has one of our most incredible and advanced engine control units ever put in one of our cars. Just this supercharger alone increases the engine performance by nearly 50%. This engine also has an insane amount of torque as well, which really gives the truck an up-and-go feeling. It's also incredibly maneuverable, partly thanks to that advanced clutch control algorithm, so it can turn on a dime and even outperforms every truck in its class. So we get the great privilege to call this vehicle a best-in-class truck. This is when you want to get your screenshots. It's also one of the only vehicles in its class. I don't see too many trucks with tank treads on them around. Echolodia X has the most condensed logic of any of our land vehicles. Its logic is more than 30% condensed than even its brother, Echolodia TE. It also has gotten the incredibly robust cooling system, capable of cooling a super high performance W20 engine. Blinkers also make sounds when you turn them on, and so do the hazards, so you really know when your blinkers are on. Personally, I really like the sound that the transmission makes when it shifts gears. So while we've got the truck out here, let's demonstrate SenTOS Car 4. Well, we can't quite demonstrate the engine idling higher, because frankly it's not that cold outside, 16 degrees Celsius. But we can demonstrate the trip stats. Let me switch to the truck camera here. And now, when the engine turns off, you can see their trip stats. You can see the distance we drove was pretty short, only a couple of meters really. Our fuel economy, the fuel used, and our average speed are all there too. Isn't that just cool? Although I don't think that 68 miles per gallon is the correct fuel economy. I would be ecstatic if my car could get that, but great fuel economy. Yeah, let's see that options menu. As you can see, it populates the right side of the dash with all sorts of options, including the transmission type, the speed unit, and much more. You can change all this stuff on the fly, and it immediately goes into effect across this entire vehicle. This, along with all the dozens of small changes and features to this truck, make it one of the best vehicles we have ever made. Ever. Everyone at SentyTek is so excited for this vehicle to release to the workshop, which will be soon enough. Now, let's get this thing away. Come on, get away. Go. Leave. Get out of here. Closing the door. Get out of here. There. Truck never existed. Oh. Almost got carried away there. Nearly got carried away. Echolodia X, everyone. World-class pickup truck with a world-class control system. talk about releases, I'd like to hand it off to Senty. Thanks, Senty. So when will all these amazing things be released to the workshop? Well, the good news is that some of these are already available starting a while ago. Improved Conquest mode is available in the workshop right now. It's even on the most popular page on Steam, so it's super easy to find it. SenCommands are released later this year on the Steam Workshop as an add-on. SenGraph is available right now under the name Graphing MC V2, though without the CSV exporting. SenGraph will be available this summer on the workshop. SenTOS Car 4 will not release to the workshop as a standalone controller. However, vehicles that it is featured in will release to the workshop. Echolodia TE will release later this month, so be sure to check out for that. Echolodia X will also release later this month, so be sure to check out for both of these amazing trucks. Of course, everything we announce here today will be available for free on the Steam Workshop whenever they release. Back to Senty. Thank you, Senty. What a fun afternoon! We announced so many incredible things, from SenCommands, one of the best fun add-ons in the game, to Echolodia X, a world-class pickup truck. At SentyTek, we strive to innovate and to make incredible products that benefit the lives of everyone involved. We hope that you love these new products as much as we do. We've got an incredible hands-on area just outside, and we'll open in a moment so you can get a drive in these amazing things. And I'd like to thank everyone for joining us this afternoon, including those watching us online. And I especially would like to thank all the people at SentyTek who made this magical day possible. Can we unmute and get a round of applause?
Woohoo! That's great. Good job. Good job.
That's all for me. Thank you, stay safe, and good day.